To put something out there to speak to folks who are interested or thinking about hosting an exchange student, doing a family stay with somebody from abroad. That was our situation last year, so we were brand new to the whole process. It's my husband and I. We don't have kids, other kids of our own. So hosting really is for everyone. If you're a single person, couples without kids, couples with kids, single person with kids, it's all great. It's a great experience. We certainly would recommend it. But that said, we also learned a lot too. So I want to focus specifically on the application process. So first off, I would say do your research on the organization. We chose one that doesn't offer stipends or any kind of a payment, because our values are that we're doing this for cultural exchange, to make the world a better place. And we didn't want to include any kind of financial benefit or incentive in that, but everybody's different. That might play a role for you. Also, read the mission of the organization and make sure that really kind of fits with your personal mission of why you're doing this too. Think of your organization also as your primary support for all things exchange. So you'd want to find an organization that has a great reputation, that talks about that support. How do they work with families? You'll get a sense when you start working with the people with the organization, kind of how they run. So when you actually get the application, or submit your own application, I should say, my big tip there is to start as early as possible. We started in July for an August arrival. Really rushed. We missed out on some of the initial communications, so we felt like we were kind of confused, and we did get that ironed out, but it took a little more work. Some things that they don't tell you your first time around, or I didn't feel like we knew, is that when you apply early, there's actually the pool of students is much wider at that point. A lot of the people applying haven't found homestays yet, so if you are looking for something particular, you want a certain age, or a kid from a certain country, any particular interests, something that you feel would fit really well with your family, I think you'd have a better chance of finding that, perhaps. Not to say that's always the case, but once you get really kind of close to August time, there's not as many kids left. A lot of the teenagers have already found their families. So also, if you apply early, busing to your local high school and within your district is a possibility. We found that our late arrival, we couldn't get our exchange student in to busing, and so we had to drive there and back every morning, which I know a lot of parents do, but it's just something to think about if that's if that would actually work for you and something that you would want to do. And then also with an earlier time frame is as I mentioned, you'd have kind of a larger pool of applicants to look at, really focus on those common interests, things that, what does your family do, what does your family value. I think we would very much recommend that you review applications for somebody who seems like would be the best fit for your family, as you know your family. So speaking of the applications, focus on actually really good grades. Most of the exchange students do have those, but for us, we feel that it demonstrates willingness to learn, interest or excitement to learn. It demonstrates kind of a drive, maybe ambition, maybe kids having goals for themselves, one of which then is living abroad. And the whole exchange host experience is so challenging. For the students, it's probably the hardest thing that they will have done in their lives to that point. So having somebody who is open-minded and who is excited to learn new things and really wants to get engaged with their school and would be really helpful. Just make the experience go more smoothly, I think, probably for everyone. Some other things that I look for on the application next time around are their essays, what they're actually saying about what they want to get out of the experience. With all of this information on it is really important before you make a decision. The organizations, I think, will offer you kind of the redacted version of the application first, and then if you're interested, you get the longer version. I'd say definitely, again, apply early and you'd have time to do that.